Hello everybody, this is Wolf Bitten, and I have with me Cherie J. Hello Cherie, how you doing?
I'm good, brother. How are you?
I'm doing really good. And Cherie sent me a link that I found absolutely fascinating. And we're going to share this little short clip with you here in a moment. Uh, the United States apparently has a super soldier program. Not only do we have a super soldier program, but it appears that we have been using our super soldiers and our super soldier technique against Syria, and then blaming Syria for the attacks that our super soldiers are doing. I find this just absolutely fascinating. And I'd listened to this, and the guy speaks with such a heavy accent that I really didn't even catch it. And what was it that he says, Cherie? How does he say
Genetically modified.
it? Yeah. And so what was your initial impression when you heard this?
Well, it shocked me that a Syrian ambassador is actually saying a genetically modified soldier
Yes.
exists. And he's in front of a UN microphone. So, look.
And what I'm.
And you told me about the story where they're saying just the opposite in the United States. It just proves the propaganda that we're being fed. And look, we can't absolutely say with 100% that this man's telling the truth. But everyone has to hear the other side of the story. When you compare what the media feeds us here with what we're hearing from ambassadors out of Syria, it'll make you think. And I can't think of any reason why an ambassador would say something like that if he couldn't prove that they're tampering with these soldiers' genetics.
Yeah, and he had a list of names evidently too, but you mentioned a story. I guess I should give the little backstory on this. The United States has been trying to bring down Bashir Assad for a few years now. And since we couldn't directly declare war on Bashir Assad to bring down his nation, he's the only one keeping the peace in Syria right now, just like Saddam Hussein was keeping the peace in Iraq, and Gaddafi was keeping the peace in Libya, keeping everything stabilized. Bashir Assad has several groups of Muslims and Christians that all live together in peace, and apparently we've wanted to destroy that. There's other issues too. Russia sides with them to try to keep them up, to keep stability in the land. So we're also fighting a covert war against Russia by doing this. But we have supplied ISIS with arms and ammunition and etc., and various other guerrilla groups to go in and make war against Bashir Assad to bring him down. And these ISIS forces have taken over Aleppo a couple of years ago, and they've held Aleppo for a long time. And Russia and Bashir Assad recently did a joint campaign against Aleppo and just pounded the crap out of him. And they were killing, they've killed over 50,000 ISIS members in Aleppo alone. And they were taking such a beating that they begged for a ceasefire. So Syria and Russia agreed to a ceasefire, and they agreed to let the civilians out of Aleppo, and they sent in loads and loads of buses to let the women and children out. And as they were coming out, it was some of these very buses that these super soldiers attacked. Now, Russia and Syria would not have attacked these buses that they agreed to let out. This was done by ISIS in order to smear Assad and Russia. We've got this big propaganda campaign going on. And the United States blamed the Syrian forces for all of the atrocities that ISIS was doing while they held Aleppo. I find this odd. And they also blamed Assad's forces for the fire bombings on these buses that the women and children were escaping Aleppo in. But let's go ahead and listen to this clip real quick.
Well, absolutely. But make sure that everybody knows that he confirms this in this clip.
Absolutely.
You're going to hear him saying exactly what you just set up people to understand.
Absolutely. He does confirm this right here. And here we go. Let's see what he says.
Unfortunately, some member states in the Security Council and the mainstream media continue to defend and support the genetically modified armed Syrian opposition, moderate by definition, while turning a blind eye to the crimes committed by them, such as burning the evacuation buses yesterday. I guess you are aware of this. Continue to defend and support the genetically modified armed Syrian opposition.
Mr. Ambassador, you named off a whole list of individuals who you claim are
nice people, yeah,
are intelligence agents from
no, they are Syrian moderate opposition.
Right. Can
genetically
you
modified.
Are they still in eastern Aleppo?
Yes. No, they are Syrian moderate opposition.
Right. Can
genetically modified.
Are they still in eastern Aleppo?
Yes.
And there you have it from his own mouth. He confirms and establishes that it was the ISIS forces, or the rebel forces, the forces that are funded and manned and armed by the United States that has actually performed this atrocity, and that they were super soldiers. Super soldiers were involved in this campaign, and evidently he has a list of names. Tracy, I just find this absolutely amazing.
Genetically modified.
Yeah, yes.
That's
genetically modified.
That's absolutely correct.
Yeah,
his accent is very thick, but you can clearly hear him say it.
Yes, he says it 3 times. And, you know, it's a very sad story, and it's not funny at all, but that's the reason I wanted you to say it. You say it's so funny. We need a little levity in this. It's an ugly thing that we are sponsoring in the Middle East. Ever since 9/11, millions upon millions of civilians have died because of an evil United States agenda. And this isn't the will of the American people. We've been hoodwinked, we've been lied to, and most of us, I want the world to know, stand absolutely against what's going on. Hence the rally to elect Trump as president. Maybe we can get some of this stuff changed. If not, we're with you, world, and we stand against the atrocities. So, Cherie, thank you so much for showing me this video, and why don't you give us a final word on this?
Well, this is just a clear-cut case of showing you the difference in what we're fed in the mainstream media and what the ambassador of Syria has to say about it. So, you know, before you listen to this stuff, at least try to get the other side of the story and then do whatever weighing you have to do. Because people need to know that what we're hearing from our news organizations is propaganda. The end.
Amen. And if we're genetically modifying super soldiers, I think that we should ask the question, when does this genetic modification begin? Does it begin at birth? Are they an experiment? Or is there some sort of advanced technology and etc. that they can actually employ?
You know, can they do it to us?
I
think they're already trying to do some of it through the food and the water and the poisoning that we're receiving. We're all getting heavy metals and everything that we eat, everything we put on our body. But we'll go into that another day.
And so are we genetically modified? Are we being genetically modified? That's a very good question. And thank you again, Cherie, for pointing this out. And good night, everybody. Thank you very much for watching and listening. Please comment. We look forward to your comments. Let us know what you think. Please like, please subscribe, and please share this with everybody that you know. When you like and you share, it helps this to be put out there more on YouTube. So thank you very much. Good night.